think some people went to the bathroom, so we're just waiting for them to come back. Does anybody have any good jokes? Volunteers? Shiva? Oh,
Alexa.
Alexa, perfect, please.
No, it's not the Wi-Fi yet.
Technology fail. Please. Something
No, it's not coming. Alexa.
This would be tricky. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll begin anyway. Maybe we'll. All right. So, yeah, thank you for staying after pizza. Really appreciate it. So, yeah, we have two more talks left, and they are awesome. So, the first one will be by Shiva. State as a service.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Shiva. Thanks for having me be there and already Matt. So I'm going to be talking about state as service, but before I get in there, I see a lot of familiar faces. So I'm not here from AWS. I'm finished up with AWS for a week back. So don't hate me or don't heckle me, because I'm not trying to tell set a service here anymore. So what I wanted to talk about was serverless, still serverless. But the fact that Lambda functions and Azure functions and all old serverless technology has just taken off. And a lot of people have started developing it. When AWS announced this in 2014, this was a pretty new concept. So all the tools associated with it are still developing, methodologies are still developing, and you've got the serverless framework and the SAM and a whole bunch of stuff, right? So people are still figuring this stuff out. One of the common evolution that we see is, you're all familiar with the pets and cattle framework, right? So pets meaning servers which you name, and if they fall sick, you take care of them and whatnot. And then cattle, right? So you have a lot of cattle. If one of them gets injured, you kill it and then replace it with another server, auto scale. So the physical architectures have evolved from there. This was maybe 5 years ago, right? Since then, we've got containerization. So containerization, I treat them like rabbits, right? So you've got thousands of rabbits, 10,000 rabbits. Now, if one of them gets injured, what would you do? Like, would you treat them like cattle? Would you actually, like, this might be a bad analogy, but, but they're like rabbits. Now, the other aspect is the time aspect, right? With a pet, to get a new pet going, it will take weeks. With cattle, with auto scaling, it's still a matter of minutes. So you got it, depending on the instance type that you have in the auto scale, it might take a couple of minutes to come up and start serving custom traffic. When you go containers, we're talking seconds. Right? We've got 10,000 containers. Now, our processes, our tooling, our monitoring systems, our alarming systems, all of them have to evolve as well. And our software architectures have to evolve with these hardware architectures as well. Right? So when we were, in the older times, when we had mainframes and we had these massive servers, we had monolithic architectures. Then, now in the containerization in the rabbits world, we are moving towards microservices. And then we have still evolved, and when we talk about serverless, they are like microbes. There are thousands of them every second. Right? So would you give them an IP? Would you give them a name? Would you monitor a single instantiation of a serverless function? So all those are we're still working on and has to evolve as well. Right? So that's a serverless reference architecture which I've just taken from an AWS, one of those AWS reference architectures. So it doesn't matter exactly what it does. It basically is map reduce using serverless Lambda functions. Again, it doesn't matter how it works, but the point of the slide was that how many Lambda functions do we have here? So we've got a Lambda function which is triggering off an input bucket. Presumably something is being dropped in the bucket. There is an API gateway in front of a coordinator, so now we've got a coordinator. There are mapper functions, there are reducer functions, and multiple reducer functions doing all these things, and there's a final reducer which functions the result. Right? So this is basically Lambda explosion. So when we start using serverless functions more and more, you suddenly find out that you have about 100 Lambda functions running, making up your application. Now, you have to deal with, so Lambda functions individually are okay, but then when you have to start dealing with failures of Lambda functions, do you retry? Right? Recently, AWS announced this feature called dead queues for Lambda, which means that if a Lambda function fails a few times, it gets pushed into a dead queue, which which means that now you can read the detonator queue and figure out why it failed and then take remedial actions. But still, that is still quite a bit of heavy lifting that you have to do, right? But this is a typical serverless architecture that we see. There's going to be some kind of a queue, whether it's an SQS or a Kinesis or some kind of a message bus. There's going to be a database, DynamoDB, RDS, or whatever it is. There might even be an on-prem aspect to your serverless function. And then you have a whole bunch of Lambda functions. How do you manage all of these things? So what we want applications. We don't care about functions. We don't care about individual functions. What we want is a business application which will serve a customer. So what does a business application as a whole need? You need to be able to sequence function. You need to be able to call Lambda function 1, which calls function 2, function 3, and then sequence them in a particular order to serve your workflow. You want database decision trees. You want to say that this is an event that is getting generated, and based on that event, you want to call either this Lambda function or the other Lambda function. Right? So about a year back, I did this talk about event-driven infrastructure, where I was talking about sentient events. So when an event is generated, can the event contain metadata which informs you how it should be processed? Right? So that's what we're talking about. An event comes with some kind of metadata. So this event is being generated in the context of application A or application B, or a vendor A or a vendor B, and then that triggers a particular Lambda function based on that metadata. You want to be able to retry an error handle. So you're spinning up a Lambda function which is meant to deploy a CloudFormation template, for example. And the CloudFormation template fails because there's not enough capacity or something went wrong. Do you want to just give up and raise an alarm, or do you want to retry? Right? And then also error handling. You want, as programmers, you're used to the try-catch finally kind of context, right? You want to try to do something, and the fallout of it you want to catch and take a particular action. You might have workflows that run for hours. Lambda functions have 5 minutes. Typical example that I find a lot of customers do is drop a bunch of data into S3, and you want to load it into Redshift. And people are trying to use Lambda functions to do it. Now, depending on the size of the input file, it might take more than 5 minutes to load that data into Redshift. So a Lambda function will fire, it will trigger a Redshift copy, and then after 5 minutes it will die. The copy will still continue, and the data will get loaded into Redshift if everything goes fine. What happens if it doesn't? Then you've just lost the context. Because the Lambda function which had the context has just died. Right? So all those are requirements for your application, which we are not going to get, or we're going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting if we are writing individual Lambda functions. So what we need is we need coordination. We need somebody, a traffic police, to stand there and actually look at what is going on, somebody to maintain state and have a bigger context, and then orchestrate the entire thing. Right? So enter state machine. Anyone ever done state machine programming? Anyone done this design? Okay, so I can't bullshit on this. So I was thinking of going up there. Try something works, but I do know a little bit about state machines. So state machine, I went to Google to find out what a state machine is, as we do. And as you can see from the Google thing, I've done this today. So a state machine or a finite state machine. A finite state machine is basically something, a machine that's got a finite number of states. And the machine can exist in one state at any point in time. And then based on the inputs or other external stimuli, it transitions states. So a simple example is a light switch. A light switch is in the on stage. When it's in the on state, it is actually sending out current. When it transitions to the off state, its output is no current. That's a simple two-step state machine. So you see state machines all around us. Your elevators are all state machines on how they act. A traveling salesman problem. The elevators are kind of taking a traveling salesman problem in the sense that if you push a button from the 3rd floor, and there are different 5 elevators at different floors, the most optimal elevator has to come down to the 3rd floor. That's a traveling salesman problem essentially. And that is basically a state machine implementation. So, state machine again in 2 minutes. Who's played this game? Who knows what this game is? That was your age. So, Prince of Persia. So, let's take a simple example. You have a prince of Persia running around. He can do run, and you press J button or B or whatever it was, whatever you want, he jumps. So he can run, he can jump, right? And then he can duck. If somebody attacks him, he can duck. Now what happens if he's jumping and somebody presses the duck button? Can he duck while he's jumping? Not really, right? So if we have to implement this, how do you implement this? A whole bunch of if loops, right? So if the prince is stationary and somebody presses the right arrow mark, start running, right? And then if somebody presses the D button, duck while he's running. If somebody presses the J button, jump. If somebody presses the D button and he is in the jumping state, you can't duck, right? So it gets complicated, and the more states that you add. The answer is you can really simplify it in the state machine. So that's a very simple state machine where we say, if he's standing and somebody presses B, you can jump, you go to the jump state. And while he's jumping, if somebody presses down, you go down to the dive state. And while he's standing, if somebody presses the arrow mark, you can go to top. So that's a simple state machine. Now, add more complexity to this. If you give him a weapon, right, you give him a gun or a sword, can he actually attack while he's jumping? Can he attack while he's ducking? You add more complexity to this, you add more states, right? So typically in state machine, it kind of needs a different way of thinking. It's not too different. If you are used to object-oriented programming, this comes a little bit easier for you. My introduction to state machines were when I was doing, typically state machines are used in digital design. So when you're designing CPUs or memory units or any kind of hardware, you typically tend to use a state machine. And I remember dreams where when I was doing state machines and we were doing clock edges and whatnot, of like opening a door and seeing clock cycles in my dream and looking at down a clock cycle to see if you are at a particular state and things like that. So state machines can be pretty addictive if you start thinking about it in that way. Typically, a lot of game programmers would use state machines, like as example. A lot of game developers would be actually typically swearing by state machines until it gets to a point. So there are times when you want to use a state machine, there are times when you don't want to use a state machine. Now, I talked about introducing an additional parameter saying that there's a weapon. So there's a gun, now you give him a grenade, right? So every additional thing that you add, the state machine becomes more and more complicated. At some point in time, it is not worth doing it in a state machine anymore. A lot of the games right now are AI, so for those kind of things, you don't want to use a state machine. But for simpler things, definitely state machines just want to simplify your design. So that was my state machine in two functions. So introducing AWS step functions. So step functions was introduced this last December. So it's a pretty new service, right? But this is one of the few services that was not reviewed and things like that went into GA. Step function stands on the shoulder of Jack. Has anybody used a simple workflow service? Wow. I've never met anybody who uses a simple workflow service. But it is quite an important service. It's not one of those sexy new services. It's been there for ages, like data pipeline or simple workflow service. But it's a very, very powerful service. Just the fact that it is one of the first, it's a foundational service, and it gets introduced into absolutely every new region that AWS launches. Tells you something about it. So simple workflow service is internally used by Amazon Retail and AWS extensively. They run every week. They run about 1 billion state machines using SWF. Right? All of Amazon Retail is behind the scenes state machine. So if you look at EC2, you spin up an EC2 instance. EC2 instance has a status. Right? It can either be in a running state, can be in a terminating state, can be in a stop state. Now recently they have introduced a draining state, which allows you to do container draining, ECS, and things like that. So these are different states that the EC2 goes through. Behind the scenes, that's a state machine implementation, presumably. Right? Auto scaling, behind the scenes, uses SWF. Code deploy has lifecycle hooks. That is all behind the scenes, presumably state machine. So AWS uses these state machines extensively. But it's very difficult to use. So if you look at SWF, the way it works is that you have a decider and you have a worker. And these are servers that you have to continue to run and continuously poll the SWF service. The decider gets the state information and then decides which worker to give a job to. And then the worker again sends the new state back and things like that. Very difficult to use, not very intuitive. So step functions is a step out from SWF. I kind of look at it as an SWF 2.0. The way step functions work, it is basically a state machine implement. It allows you to implement state machines in the end. I'm not sure why they didn't call it AWS state functions, much similar. As you can see, that's the console of AWS step functions. So you have a visual representation. You can visually drag and drop and create your entire states. Or you can do it via JSON. So behind the scenes that translates into a JSON, so a code tab. So you can directly write a JSON file, which, and I'll show you examples of that, and it will show you visually what happens. And the visual effect also shows you the green boxes, which means that state has successfully run. And the non-green ones, it has not still run yet. If it's failed the state, it's going to give you a red point. So it's visually represented. You have information about the last execution status. You give an input to a state machine. So there are typically two kinds of state machines. You need external stimuli for the state to transition, right? So there is a mood machine and there's a mealy machine. Again, you don't really need to know this, but you can design either of those in step functions. A mood machine is basically something that is just dependent on the output of the state machine depends on the state it is in. If the switch is on, the output is current of 1. If the switch is off, the output is current of 0. So the output of that state machine is dependent on the state that that state machine is in. Whereas the mealy machine, the output of the state function depends on the input plus the state that is in. So a state machine basically takes inputs. You can see input. So you can give a JSON input to a state machine. And then based on the input, the state can transition. Right? And then you have detailed metrics. So you have integration into CloudWatch metrics, so you get metrics around how much time did each state take to execute different execution IDs and things like that. We'll dive a little bit deeper into step functions. So that's a simple JSON hello world for an AWS step function. You can see you can enter a commit. You have a start at state, right? So which in this state machine starts at a particular state. That is case sensitive and it has some restrictions around how you name it. You can't use special characters and things like that. And then there is a states array. So this is the absolute minimum requirement for a step function. You need a start at and you need a states array, which has got the function that you start. Here it's a single step, hello world, and the type is a task. I will get more dive deeper into what are the different types available. It's basically a simple task. The resource is an on for a lambda function. And then end is true, which means that that's the end of the state machine. So it's a single step state machine, which starts, hello world, calls a lambda function. The lambda function is going to give you an output, and then the state machine is going to end. The output of the lambda function is the output of the state machine, right? So there is no input to the state machine, you can just start the state machine. The outputs of your states also have to be JSON. Everything is in JSON, right? So that's a very simple step function. There are 7 state types. So each of those states can be of one of those 7 types. So a simple task is what I showed you. I'm not sure why it's kind of. So I can read it out. So a task. So a task state is something, it's an activity. That's what we saw in the last slide. So your task state can either call out a lambda function, which means that it's completely serverless, and that's what I'm going to talk about later. You can have servers as well. And behind the scenes, there are servers, trust me, right? So you can have EC2 instances or ECS or your on-prem servers polling your state machine for an activity, for a task activity. So you can either create a task state which calls out a lambda function or a task state which calls out an activity. The activity is polling. So somebody, an EC2 instance is polling it. When the state machine comes to a state where it has to do an activity and somebody polls for that particular activity, it gives them that job. It does it, gives back the results, and then the state transitions. We're not going to talk too much about that. We're going to just talk about lambda functions, right? So simple. And then the next one is a choice state. So we talked about how we want applications to be able to branch based on the data. So a choice is basically branching logic. It can come in and say that if my input is blah, enter this state. If my input is blah, enter the other state. Right? So you can have a choice state. You can have parallel states. And I'll show you examples of these when it become much clearer. Parallel states is where you can have multiple branches executing in parallel, and then all of them transitioning into a common state. Right? And I'll show you an example of that as well. You have a wait state, which is nothing but a delay. If you want to spend time waiting for something, a manual action perhaps, you can do a wait state. Fail and succeed are terminating states. So that's how a state machine ends. You can end a state machine, a step function, with failure or success state. And then a pass state. A pass state is basically, it takes an input and it passes that out through the output, right? So typically you would use it for your development and mocking it out and stubbing out the step functions and things like that. You probably wouldn't use this in a production. So pass is basically for development. So as I said, you can either pull or push. So that's a start. You start the state machine, there are two states. There's an upload raw file, and then there's a delete raw file, image processing state machine. So you can have an AWS EC2 instance or ECS or your mobile phone or your desktop or whatever it is, polling for that particular state, and you have created an activity called upload raw file activity. When the state machine transitions to that, and one of those pollers polls, it's going to give that activity to it. And it's going to execute the activity and then make an API call saying that success or failure. And then the state machine will continue. That is basically polling. Whereas the other task you can do is push, where you enter a lambda function and then the state is pushed out to the lambda function. The lambda function executes, returns something, and the state machine continues. So now we'll go through some of those different states that we talked about and some examples. So we talked about the task state, which was a lambda function, simple hello world. You can retry failures, right? So an individual lambda function. I've seen customers implementing individual lambda functions before dead queues, right? Before dead queues were available, they would maintain states in a DynamoDB table or some kind of a database, and trace the execution of the lambda function and figure out if the lambda function succeeded or failed based on the state. Right now, you don't need to do that anymore. The step functions will take care of that. So simply, you say type task and resource states and send out the lambda function. You just have to enter a retry and say error equals handled error. If the lambda function fails and returns handled error, you have an interval of 1. You wait for 1 second, and max returns of 2. So you will retry this lambda function 2 times. You will wait 1 second before you retry. And then you can also do exponential backup of 2. So for example, if you have handled error 3 times in this function, in this step function, the first time it occurs, it's going to wait for 1 second and retry the lambda function. Error happens again, it's going to back off 2 seconds, which means that it's going to wait for 2 seconds and then retry it. The third time it fails, max returns is 2, so it's going to fail. The step function is going to fail entirely, right? So your exponential backoff and retries are built into step functions. You can catch failures. So in the last example, I talked about how it failed 3 times and it completely failed. You don't want to just fail the state machine. You probably want to catch that error and do something intelligent. So you have a catch block. You can say handle error catch block. Next state is custom error fallback state. Or if it is states.task fail, there are some predefined errors. So anything starting with states dot is a predefined error. So it can be states.timeout. If your lambda function timed out, if you are not passing an explicit error, it will be states.timeout. Right? So you can say states.catchall ID. So any of the errors that happens or default error you not handle, you can actually go and do a reserve type fault or a generic fault, whatever. So depending on what error happened, you can catch it and particularly move to a specific state which will handle that. So that's an example. But however, if you have a custom handle error, you can go through the custom error fallback, or you can go to a reserve fallback, or you can do a catch all fallback and do take appropriate actions. So let's look at a complex. So we talked about catch blocks and we talked about retries. So let's talk about a complex error handling scenario. So that's a retry block, and there is a catch block down there. Yeah, so there's a catch block down there. So the retry block talks about error equals error A, error B, interval of 1, back of rate 2, and max attempts of 2. And then there's an error C, where I'm waiting for 5 seconds. It's just the interval is 5 seconds. I've got a catch block where I'm saying that states.org, which means that's the generic catch block, right? So let us imagine it's going to have error A, error B, A, B, P, B, C, B, for example. What will happen? So when error A occurs, it's going to wait for 1 second and then go and retry the lambda function. And then error B happens. When error B happens, it's going to back off 2 seconds and then try the lambda function again. Right? And then error B happens again. Now it's going to wait for 4 seconds because it's exponentially backed off and try the lambda function again. Error C happens. It's going to come and catch it here, wait for 5 seconds. Try the lambda function again. Error B happens again. It's going to come and catch it there, but error B has already occurred twice. So max attempts of 2 is already exceeded. So it's going to fail. It's going to come down to the catch block, and then the next state is going to be Z. Does that make sense? So you can really create complicated retry, back-off logic just using step functions, and it will manage everything for you. And in this case, all you're writing for this complicated logic is this JSON file and your lambda function, which might be a simple few lines. Right? You can implement all of this on your own. You probably are going to have it on servers and a database. An example of a choice state. So you can say choice. The step function is going to get some inputs, and one of those in a JSON format, and one of the elements is foo. I'm saying if variable foo numeric equals 1, then go to the first match state. If variable foo equals 2, go to the next match state, second match state. So you can do a choice and branch out. So that's an example. So you can do a first state, choice state, and then go to first match state, second match state, top state. And then all of them come down to the next state, by converging at the next state. So in a choice state, the flow of control of the state transition is going to be one branch. Like it's either going to go this way or that way or that way. It's just going to be one path to it. You can do a parallel state. In this example, I'm talking about customer info. So you've got a customer ID. You've got to look up all the details of that customer ID. You've got to look up the customer address, customer phone number, probably what the customer has previously called, or what the customer usually browses for. So all that can be a parallel state. So here I'm saying parallel, type is parallel, state type is parallel. And then I've got branches. So in the branches I've got a start at, which is my lookup address. And there are a whole bunch of states. So I can do lookup address and lookup phone parallel. Right? So that is going to execute all those different branches parallelly, and all of them are going to end up at, so in this case, they end there. So the end is true, which means that that's the last state. Right? But all of them, the next state can be consolidation state. So your address and your phone number and the customer preferences are going to end up in a JSON array in your consolidation state. And then you go along from there. So for example, there's a customer who's been using this, forget their name, who talked about how they implemented their state machine in SWF, which took about 30 minutes to run. They have re-implemented that using parallel branches, parallel tasks, and choice tasks and things like that with step functions. It runs in 3 seconds. Right? So like by intelligently using parallel states, you can really cut down the time that it takes to run a state machine. You also have the wait state. So you can say wait 10 seconds or wait till this time stop. And it's just going to occupy that state for that particular time before it moves on to the next state. So all these states are defined in a spec. There is an Amazon states language spec, which is basically JSON. There are red URLs, which you can't really see. The whole presentation is on GitHub, so I can send you links and yeah. So you've got a spec which details out how the JSON should look like, what are the rules and whatnot. At the bottom there is another link which is a lint file, Ruby gem linter. So you can write your states JSON file and use the lint to basically type check it and whatnot. So a couple of reference architectures. So this is a reference architecture I think was published maybe a couple of weeks ago using recognition and things like that. So what they're trying to do here is upload a photo. When you upload a photo to S3, what you want to do is you want to get the metadata out of the photo. store it in a DynamoDB table, use recognition to identify the photo, identify the components of the photo, and then enrich the metadata, and then show a simple web page which shows all this metadata. So that's the application, and the entire thing is screwed up by a CloudFormation. It's on AWS Labs. The way it works is somebody uploads the photo to S3, event notification triggers a Lambda function, and that Lambda function triggers a step function, a state machine. The state machine basically uses another Lambda function to extract the metadata from the photo. It also triggers a parallel call to recognition, and it generates a thumbnail. Stores everything in the metadata in a DynamoDB table, and it's a single page web app which shows the metadata of the photo. Right? So if you were to do this without step functions, and you want to do it at scale, hundreds of people are uploading thousands of pictures, and any of those Lambda functions fail, you want to handle it on your own, right? And it's a lot of heavy lifting. So with step functions, it makes it easy. And the step function looks like this. You've got a state machine which starts, you've got extract metadata, which is a Lambda function. You just fire off a Lambda function, extracts the metadata. Then you have an image type check, as in you support only PNG and JPEG. So if the metadata, that output of that metadata says that it's a JPEG or a PNG, you will go to process. If it is some other format, we want to say that not supported image type, and there are all. The state machine fails. If it's a supported one, you want to have a parallel branch which calls recognition and generates thumbnail at the same time. And then recognition is going to add more metadata and the state machine. Now, this will happen for hundreds of people loading thousands of images. The state machine will maintain state and it will continue to execute, and you will be able to figure out which of those images failed from the images. Right? And as I said, it is integrated with CloudWatch, so you should be able to get metrics about every state and every state failure, raise alarms, do that. Right? Again, so there is a GitHub link at the bottom which points you to a CloudFormation template which spins up this entire app. Another blog post that came out was around manual approvals. So state machines, again, we've been talking about a very technology angle here, right? So think about business processes. Where you want, you apply for leave and you want leave approval. How do we do that now? We pay a lot of money to some really big vendors to create those systems. Think about business process workflows, BPMs, in call centers and things like that, where they use these massive message buses and intermediary to be able to orchestrate and coordinate all this. What is that essentially doing? Your IBM MQ series and things like that. What it does is basically maintain state and distributed processes, right? And that's pretty much what it does. So this is a blog which talks about a manual approval. So this could be a leave or a promotion, or somebody applies for a leave in a system. You trigger a Lambda function. That is a scheduled Lambda function which is triggering every minute or whatever using CloudWatch events. It is doing a get activity state in your step function. Now the step function will trigger when somebody applies for leave. So the start of that is somebody is applied for leave. The fact that the state machine has started, the next state is going to be an activity state, which is an approval state. So that approval state is going to be given to that Lambda function. And the Lambda function is going to trigger an SES, using SES, is going to trigger an email with a URL in it, which will go to the manager. Now, step functions recently announced integration with API gateway, which means that you can hit step function API and front-end it with an API gateway. So in this case, what you will do is the URL that the Lambda function generates will have a token. One token for past state, one token for failed state. So if a manager wants to approve the leave, they click on the approve link or approve button in the email, which sends an API call to API gateway, which makes the state success. Which means the state is going to transition to success state and step function is going to execute. If you reject the leave by clicking on reject button, your state is going to fail. And the step function is going to fail, which means that your workflow stops. Right? Again, a simple example, but the applications you can think of are enormous. Right? So I'm quickly going to do a few use cases. Typically, we see used for asynchronous data processing. Right? When you're thinking asynchronous data processing, also think of AWS Batch. Business process workflow, as I mentioned, Foodpanda is a food delivery service like Uber Eats, which is using step functions. Again, traveling salesman problem. intelligent application delivery pipeline. So application delivery, your CI/CD pipelines can be intelligent. If your application delivery fails, it's basically a workflow. If it fails in a system test environment, maybe you want to try it again. If it fails in an integration test environment, maybe you want to deploy it in a system test environment and see why it does fail. Right? So the entire thing can be codified. And event-driven workflows as well. And infrastructure automation, think shell scripts. You want to take an EBS snapshot every day. You can write a shell script, bash shell script, and do error handling. You can write lambda function and again do error handling. Or you can write a step function, which calls a lambda function to take a snapshot of EBS every day. Right? Very simple. Again, there's a link here, which is an article by Simon Wadley. If you haven't heard of Simon Wadley or read this mapping theory, I encourage you to do it. He talks about building a business from a great idea in 2025, how it would look like. And he uses step functions to create this idea. Few gotchas before I finish. Always be aware of database limits. So start execution API call, for example, of step functions has a bucket of 100. So if you have 100 API, if you make 100 API calls of start state machine, and then you get throttled to 2 a second. Right? So those are some things that you want to be aware of. Definitely look at your database limits. You cannot edit state machines at the moment. You cannot edit technology. You have to delete and create a new one. Hopefully that's coming. And the task activity is polling only. Why can't we just get the step function, call out to an HTTP endpoint, do a HTTP post? It calls a lambda synchronously. You should be able to do an HTTP post. How about pushing it to an SNS notification so that you can subscribe? Again, coming. That's what they promised in reinvent. These two specific cases were talked about. The activity on is potentially guessable. It's potential security issue. I won't delve deep into that, but if you're intending to use it, look into that. And event-driven state machine. In the state machine that I showed you, we had an S3 object we created, put into S3 bucket. We needed a lambda function to trigger the state machine. The state machine itself can be event-driven. So if I put an object into S3, it should automatically trigger the state machine. I shouldn't need a lambda to do it. And then again, we internally have to start looking at state machines in a way, like the implementations that we do, we have to start changing our way of thinking. From our usual process-driven methods to maybe more value-oriented, more state machine-based thing. How does our tooling, your monitoring, allowing systems have to evolve to manage state machines as well? And as always, available only in 5 years. So that's all I have. If there are any questions, I can take them offline.
A couple of questions.
This brings me back to some very, very horrible memories of the days of set SOA and BPMs, and the way that stops you from changing any service because you have a giant BPM orchestrating everything. It sounded very, very similar to those horrible days with BPMs. That we moved from them, from the SOAs and BPM to intelligent services and dumb pipes. This looks like a very intelligent pipe.
So if you see the intelligence behind the pipe, right, it doesn't do much. It does retry, it does cache, it does parallel states and things like that. The pipe itself is dumb. And you're moving from your horrible days, you're moving towards those microservices architecture, right, where the individual endpoints or your microservices themselves are intelligent. This is the same thing. Your lambda functions or your activities have the intelligence. The step function itself is quite dumb. But it is now distributed and it's a managed service. So you don't have to run that massive pipes and manage and maintain those distributed massive pipes, which have intelligence and do data transformations and things like that. If you see here, this doesn't do any data transformation. It just passes input to output, passes on to the next step. The intelligence itself is inside those task activities. So I think it's much better. I think it's definitely a step forward from the versions.
Yeah. Is it possible to have a task that itself is a state machine?
So your task can actually call out a lambda function which triggers another state machine. But natively not.
So your choices in the branches, there's possibly a scenario where your branches become quite complicated to determine what should happen. Is there a point where you should move away from that choice into implementing that as a function? Or should you try and keep that within the
No,
state
like
machine?
it depends, right? Like again, this is new.
Yeah.
So people are still figuring out. So for example, in Agreement, the talks that they gave, they talked about a few customer implementations. Most of them were simple. One of them, I forget the name, was quite a complicated state machine. Yeah, there has to be a cutoff point where you say that this is just getting too complicated, we have to look at something.
And can a state be recursive and like call itself, or like re-enter to its own state?
You're into trouble there.
It's like a busy loop, right? So like the state isn't ready to proceed. So
Recursion, right? So
Yeah.
that you probably wait and retry, use wait and retry. If
Yeah.
you get into recursion, you're in for a world of pain. For example, a state machine can run for a year. A single state can run for up to a year. Right? So you'll be continuously recursing for a year unless you watch.
let's do it.
Plus fun. Yeah.
I'm on off, so yeah.
We did have this task up actually
Yeah.
so it looks like this is a more specific constrained case of it. But how was it that saving
State machine look like cost-wise?
Yeah. So with SWF, it's a little bit more unwieldy, harder to use. And SWF, you have to run servers. Right? So your workers can be Lambda functions, but your decider has to continuously port. And SWF is inherently more expensive. And has longer delays. Whereas step functions, what you're charged for is every stage transition, you're charged something, plus whoever is your Lambda charging. So it's much cheaper, and it is more suited for asynchronous workflows than SWF.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm happy to answer.